and thieves. We are the Mechanisms, a band of immortal space pirates roaming through the universe on the starship Aurora. A brief introduction to the crew, as usual. Gunpowder Tim, our master at arms. Ashes O'Reilly, our quartermaster. Trumbot Brian, our pilot. Baron Marius von Raum, ship's doctor. Raffaella Lacognizzi, science officer. The toy soldier, as usual. And myself, Johnny DeVille, your humble captain.
We don't even have to do it these days, Johnny.
In our millennia, travelling through the stars, we've seen many things, many twisted people. And we want to tell you the story of one of them today. Ulysses dies at dawn. At least that's the word on the street among those that saw what went down at Calypso's. Now listen up, because we've got a labyrinthine twisted task of a tale to tell, and if you don't listen, you might get lost. Now, to understand how this all goes down, you've got to know a little bit about the planet we're talking about. See, on this planet, there was a city. Grim old city, sort of place the rain beats down like coffin nails and the air wafts with the cigarette stench of betrayal. My kind of town. Now this city, grim old city, starts to grow, to expand, and when it meets with other towns, other cities, it takes them into itself, absorbs them, until soon enough there's no land left, so the city spreads into the sea, and when there's no sea left, the city spreads upwards into the sky, and when there is no sky left, it burrows inwards like a cancer, until eventually there is nothing but the city. And so generations live and generations die in the warrens and the tunnels and even the lower levels of the surface, and they never see the sun. And it's in one of the deepest, most secret of these tunnels we meet our hero. Goes by the name of Ulysses, currently beaten, battered, bloody, unbowed, spits out a mouthful of teeth and disdain and looks up to see four of the meanest bastards, the meanest streets and the meanest parts of the city, all immaculately turned out in pinstripes. We'll call them the Suits. You might ask how things came to such a state of affairs. I know Ulysses is. Well, it started in a bar, as these things always do. Our hero slumped over a bottle of whiskey, trying to drown enough sorrows to choke a horse, and one horse in particular. Deep in my cups and my whiskey, sometimes the screaming will cease. Free-flowing tears fall unnoticed, numbness my only release. Some soldiers will tell you that warfare, just one more title for hell. I wonder if devils get nightmares of all of their victims as well. Unbroken horses, staring and still, broken horses, like all those I killed, broken horses, riding me down, broken horses. Ulysses the drunk was once Ulysses the soldier, and a high-ranking one too. So it was they found themselves fighting in the siege of Ilium some 20 years past. It was a brutal war of attrition against one of the best defended districts of the city. A war that Ulysses the soldier was determined to win. After a decade of fighting, still their defenses stood firm. Heartless and cunning and scheming, victory I would confirm. Offering peace and departing, we honored our valiant foes. A proposed a plan. Peace and independence for Ilium, free of the city's clutches. Treaties were signed, and the war was over. To commemorate the event, a vast statue was commissioned, honouring Ilium's past as famed breeders of horses, back when such beasts still existed in the city. It was scanned for bioweapons, it was scanned for explosives, it was scanned for hidden soldiers. None were found. The gift was accepted, and joy was unconfined. Of course, it wasn't scanned for a faint, almost inaudible signal being broadcast of Ulysses' own design, intended to gradually drive the hero to madness. Within a week, all in Ilium was ripping and rending and tearing and blood. When they opened the gates, there were none left alive. The war was over. Sometimes it's hard to remember. The city was not always here. Animals long since extinguished, roaming with nothing to fear. Once they were known as equestrians, and Ilium honored its past. Statues are all that remain now. Their riders have fallen at last from broken horses. Silent and stone, broken horses, like cracked and fractured bone, broken horses. All because of me, broken horses. So drunk on a cocktail of whiskey and regret, it wasn't hard for four heavies to snatch Ulysses from Calypso's one of the worst gin joints of the city. Dragged down here, in front of the vault, Ulysses' vault, the name emblazoned over the top, Penelope. The big guy smacking Ulysses round the face asks who the fuck Penelope is. The tall, blind gentleman at the back says they don't know. Says there's no record of any Penelope alive. And they're certainly not in the Acheron, and if you're not alive and if you're not in the Acheron, then you don't exist in the city. So the willowy, pale boy at the back doesn't deserve to be with the rough crew he's riding with, but he asks what Ulysses did to deserve such wrath. Big guy smacks Ulysses over the face again. And the stern-looking lady at the back says Ulysses pissed off an Olympian. Now, before we go any further, I better explain a couple of things. The Acheron and the Olympians. See, an entire world built of technology takes a lot of processing power to run, and there is no processor better than the human mind. So when you die, the ferrymen come for you, pluck your brain out your head and plug you into the Acheron, a vast, uncountably huge network of minds used as processors, kicked into a half-conscious hell forever. And you better believe that when death is so unpleasant, people will do anything to stay alive. And in the city you can buy anything if you've got a wallet thick enough for what it costs and a stomach strong enough for what it takes. So you have the Olympians, the oldest, richest, most vile of the families, living forever. And Ulysses managed to piss one of them off. Now, first thought, obviously Poseidon. See, Poseidon was, well, in part responsible for what went down at Ilium, and so Ulysses decides to take a little bit of revenge after the war ends. The Eye of the Cyclops, the perfect diamond at the heart of the industrial laser in Poseidon Industries' flagship workshop, decides to just walk in and take it.
Security got better things to do with their time. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. My name is no one. My name is no one. My name is no one. I ain't got nothing to lose. Corridor still as a dead man's tongue. Doors open with a whimper, not a bang. Rim pulled low against the camera's steel gaze. A head full of bourbon, but it's easy. My name is no one. My name is no one. My name is no one. And I ain't got nothing to lose. Workshop air got an acrid burn. The core lies gleaming in its place. One good throw and I couldn't be out the door. Drunken buzz kills the fear. My name is no one. My name is no one. My name is no one. And I ain't got nothing to lose. The eye is in sight. Grab a length of steel. Heat sears my flesh. But I choke down the pain, 'cause one good throw at the eye of the Cyclops is mine. My name is no one. My name is no one. My name is no one. I ain't got nothing to lose. No one. My name is no one. My name is. My name is Ulysses.
Of course, drunkenly yelling out your own name in triumph when you're not 100% sure you're out of range of the cameras, turns out wasn't the best idea. Soon enough, the Eye of the Cyclops is the most worthless perfect diamond in the universe because nobody is going to touch it. So for 20 years, Ulysses has been dragging that rock around, still in their bag. In fact, the Eye of the Cyclops and one shot left in a holdout laser strapped to their boot are the only things Ulysses has going for him right now. You're probably hungry for a little bit more description of Ulysses at this point, but you're going to have to remain so. Male, female, both or neither, the records are long since gone, and the only member of the crew that ever saw them in person will say nothing beyond the fact that they were black, beautiful, and had a pair of cold blue eyes that couldn't hide the things they'd seen. Anyway, those eyes are currently swelled close shut, as the big guy, let's call him by his true name, Heracles, smacks him across the face again and demands to know the passcode to the vault. Ulysses just bleeds at the fucker. So the stern-looking lass, Ariadne, says they'd better start unlocking it themselves. Orpheus, the pale milksop, just shudders a bit. But it is the blind chap, Oedipus, who strides up, removes his dark glasses to reveal 2 plug sockets, takes cables, 1, 2 more into the door, and soon enough, maybe 40 seconds, maybe 45, the first of the 4 locks disengages. Oedipus, he was a good man. He had his reasons for running with a crew like this. But it's not exactly where you'd imagine the doctor that cured the Sphinx would end up. The Sphinx, the worst of the plagues to ravage the city. A child, a baby 2 weeks, would be dying of old age, with a mind not developed enough to ask what was happening. Of course, now Oedipus just needs to get off the planet, which doesn't come cheap. But well, we've all got our stories.
I called myself an orphan. I clawed my way up from the streets to earn my rank of doctor, equal to any I should meet. How could I know my fame arose from sly Olympian wing? And soon I'd match myself against the riddle of the Sphinx. 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the day, 3 legs in the evening, as body and mind decay. Disease, striking poverty in the slums no one cares about. His host goes round the globe, in the streets they will die. Children then look as aged men, but have not learned the words to cry. Old with a corpse, yet a child. 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the day, 3 legs in the evening, as body and mind decay. Many years I spent in experiments, dissecting its chemistry, and its tests by the success with the compounds I need. A consequence, painful oxidants from Olympian eternity. They have to know what it leads to. 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the day, 3 legs in the evening, as body and mind decay. had been lost. They swore they'd find a way that wouldn't lead to loss of life. They showered me with riches and introduced me to my wife.
Of course, when the identity of Oedipus's wife, not to mention the chap he'd had to murder in self-defense in his lab, was known, well, it doesn't really matter how famous you are. There's only so much scandal a public will take. And now, Oedipus just wants out of here, but getting off planet, well, that's an expensive proposition, the sort of money you only get from working dirty jobs like this. But the first of the locks has been disengaged. See, there are two ways to get into Penelope's vault. The first is with the code that Ulysses knows but is being particularly reluctant to part with. The other is 4 trials. A trial of wits, dealt with by Oedipus. A trial of strength, that's Heracles' forte up next. A trial of song and a trial of love. You might ask, why such highbrow locking mechanisms? Well, what was rumoured to be in Penelope's vault was a weapon. Something that could destroy the Acheron and break the reign of the Olympians, so it was whispered. As to why Ulysses placed such... well, why Ulysses made it available to those with the talents to get to it, you'd have to ask the Ulysses of 30 years ago. The idealist. Before they were broken by the war. By 20 years of sirens.
Come my way and stay my honey. Lay your body down next to me. We can chase away your worries. Sleep in peace and serenity. Come my way and stay my honey. Lay your body down next to me. We can chase away your worries. Sleep in peace and serenity. Stroke the spun gold of my hair. I'll give you joy, too strong to bear. The fury of happy stunting, the softest pleasure, the sweetest pain. Come my way and stay my honey. Lay your body down next to me. We can take away our worries. Sleep in peace and serenity. Touch my lips, touch my heart. I'll give you power, hard to contain. For one night,
So after 20 years of dulling the pain, well, it's no wonder that Ulysses has forgotten their idealistic past. But we're missing Heracles, striding up to take the trial of strength. Well, turning a big wheel. But he turns it well, he turns it magnificently, and the second of the locks slides out of place. Heracles is an interesting individual. Bastard son of the scion of the oldest, richest, and meanest of the families, Zeus. See, Zeus occasionally comes to one of their bastard children and offers them a job. Says that they can become an Olympian too. Most last 2-3 jobs at the most. But Heracles just never stopped.
Welcome, my boy! I hear you've a right to call me father.
In half the city way, I hear it. Mom says hi.
Ah, don't be like that. I like to keep an eye on all of my...
What, bastards?
Oh.
You ain't a family man for us.
Now that's unfair. See, I'm making you an offer here and now. Join your real family.
Be an Olympian?
Oh, yes. Of course, there are just 1 or 2 jobs you need to complete first. Prove that you're worthy of the title of favored son.
'Twas nigh 100 years ago when first I met my father. He embraced me close and asked if I would rather live forever or die. Paupers on the streets, they have the legal yes. Souls in the action with the ferryman, short and mortal's man. But the rich they can escape the terrible drudgery, son. What do you say? I can pay your way if you pass your play in service to the family as the favored son.
Buy a life eternal with your bloody hands in service to the family as the favored son. Good job! I hear you're making quite a name for yourself. Oh, and congratulations on making me a grandfather.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that, boss.
I know what you're gonna say, but I'm sorry, the offer only extends to 1 generation. Immortality's expensive.
Well, it looks like this is where we part ways.
Going freelance? I'm sorry to hear that. Let me know if you ever change your mind.
So as the decades passed, I proved myself an asset among the mortals, and as the fates would hand in my lust for violence, screams, spurts of blood were mothers meant to be. They credited that delighted, cause I'm the one he chose against adopted foes. Steadily I rose and showed the world my pedigree service with a smile, laughing all the while. Murder or defiance and make my father proud of me as his faithful son. Buy myself my freedom with your bloody hands in service to the family as the favored son. What the fuck did you do?
Me? Way I hear it, you're the one went crazy and killed his kids.
No! No!
Don't worry, I've had the liberty of having all charges dropped. Of course, such influence doesn't come cheap. We got a few things lined up, you know, help you repay your debts. Welcome back, son.
About my home and charnel house, my children put your lead and cart. Then into Ulysses under its moon across the floor. Once was then another paying of my hunger time. My tears of hunger, so if they would retreat up the fucking street, shoot them in the feet. If they try to run away when they go to ground, burn their houses down. More will come around. Independence for my family and their favourite son. Buy yourself redemption with your bloody hands in service to the family as the favourite son.
Don't feel bad for him though, Heracles always was a nasty piece of work. Orpheus makes some comment. and Heracles tells him where to stick it. The two of them had worked together before, of course, backing up Jason on the fleece job, although it didn't exactly go well. Job went south, and Heracles lost an associate he was very fond of, boy by the name of Hylas. Anyway, all in the past now, naturally. And it's Orpheus' turn. The third trial awaits, the trial of song. So this pale, wan, borderline child walks up to the vault and starts to sing.
I'm not a gambling man. I don't know how to play this hand. I was dealt by force. Thought I could speak easy, but you just bent my words right back on me. Then I broke the law. Now here beneath the rose, the sky train rattles round overhead. The raindrops fall through dust and shatter on the ground, black and dead. I never should have placed my trust in the city, the vulture town that picked me clean.
And then, as if answering the call, the vault is filled with music.
I'm not a lawless man. I always trusted in your plan. I was dumb like that. I chose the straightest path, but all the landmarks moved as I walked past. Now I can't look back. Now here beneath the rose, the sky train rattles round overhead. The raindrops fall through dust and shatter on the ground, black and dead. I never should have placed my trust in the city, the python town that crushed my I'm not a fighting man. I never act on wrath's command, but I know you do. I'd rather run than stand. I'd rather force my hand than understand that I'm not like you. Now here beneath the rose, the sky train rattles round overhead. The raindrops fall through dust and shatter on the ground, black and dead. I never should have placed my trust in the city, the viper town that let me drown.
And like that, the third lock is open. Whatever's in there, whatever weapon, it's so close, the suits can taste it. Orpheus makes some comment about finally being able to pay off Hades for their love. Because of course, what else could Orpheus be doing this whole miserable mission for? But that perks up Ulysses and Heracles' ears, because you see, they have both had their own dealings with Hades. Now, here I need to give a little bit of context. See, the mechanisms have been on this planet, in this city, for some time now, having our own brand of fun. I was in one of the lower sub-levels, depopulating it. Marius, I believe, was psychoanalyzing Dionysus.
He's just this guy, you know.
our dear quartermaster, Ashes O'Reilly, well, they'd felt right at home. So they decided to set themselves up as something of a boss and took over the Acheron, made the ferrymen dance their tune, assumed the name of Hades. Now, you'd be justified in thinking perhaps Ashes had orchestrated all of this, and to a certain degree they had. But they were not the mastermind behind it. Neither was Poseidon, neither was Zeus. No, someone else had left Ulysses in this particularly unpleasant situation, but we'll get to that. For now, well, Ulysses, Heracles, and Orpheus all made their petitions to Hades some time back.
Ulysses, I seek to bury my fractured memories. In the war, the horrors that I saw saddled grief to my core. I can't take it anymore.
Was to be the last, but I know there's more they'll last. So if you're gonna kill me, just do it fast.
I'm in mine.
Hades, Hades, do your time that I will agree. I'll find the vault, I'll do the job happily.
Find the money for my love,
Then I shall be free.
Of course, when you deal with Ashes O'Reilly, freedom is very rarely the result. A more likely result is kneeling, spitting blood, smacking somebody to make them spit blood, or playing music in a vault. Orpheus is an odd one. But the point is, whatever twisted mastermind had gathered the four suits together had had a little help from our friend. But now, the final love, the trial of love. And who better to open it than Ariadne? As it turns out, literally anyone. See, Ariadne came from dubious stock. Her parents, the Minoses, had been responsible for one of the nastier denizens of the city, the Minotaur. It would strike from the shadows, pluck your brain from your head before you could blink, and then be off. When it was obviously revealed in time who had created it, well, let's just say they weren't being invited to any high society parties. So Ariadne came up with a plan. Finding a nice, good-looking sap by the name of Theseus, gave him the codes to disable the Minotaur, and planned to marry him with grand shows of love, until Theseus reneged on his part of the bargain, took all the credit for himself, and pissed right off. But, well, rather than reveal the deception, Ariadne had made great shows of her love, and so had been brought in for this job. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the trial of love is to sacrifice your life without hesitation or flinching. And that wasn't going to happen. No. Ariadne needed to be alive. She had a family to rebuild.
you engineer the beast that stalks the streets, making deals with the monsters so much worse, playing games with lives and bringing down his curse. You brought our name down low, where the city once lay out. Now we're working with these low lives just to eat. I read what you sow. You're one true child. I tried to right your wrongs that feel so long. Cast the dark haunted shadow of my life, plucking minds from distant backstreets, drifting strife. He promised freedom from the infamy you wrought. You built the labyrinth on blood and pain, and Theseus I thought could hide the same. but release again born from the ties that bind. And we'll rise again, we'll reclaim the power. The modern house name come from the ashes by the so long we remain in shadow, and we fall forgotten. The city shall be ours once again. So Theseus hunted for your guitar. With the strings of code I gave, it wasn't find it and deactivate its scar. To fighting, but its programming went out after. Last thing is working better. Hero claimed all credit for the feast. Completing my fall in the summer and time. And we'll rise again. I'll stay born from the ashes by the mountains. For long we remain in shadow. The city shall be ours once again. Mother, father, you're both long dead, and I was betrayed by the one I was to wed. There was no love there. My heartstrings long since cut. The miner's lies in the mud.
So, looks like that last lock isn't getting opened anytime soon. Heracles tries one more time to smack the code out of Ulysses, but without much luck. And so, the fifth suit emerges from the shadow. The one who brought this merry band together. Tall, slender, close-cropped silver hair. Daedalus. Many tales are told of Daedalus. That he had his own son killed when he got too ambitious. That he was one of the original architects of the city. Built the Acron back when it was known by its true name, Labyrinth. Even that he was an Olympian trading under the name Hephaestus. But Daedalus just knows that he has been failed. Orpheus offers to give the trial a go, as long as their payment is used to resurrect their true love after they're gone. But he can't go through with it. Just as the device is about to fire, Orpheus flinches, looks back. It doesn't work. Orpheus survives, but the lock remains firmly in place. But it gives Daedalus an idea. See, high-minded rhetoric about noble sacrifice and lack of hesitation actually comes down to a very simple motion sensor. And a simple motion sensor requires a simple solution. Can't use Ulysses. If Ulysses dies, the vault locks forever, and Daedalus wants whatever's in this vault. If it's a weapon can take down the Olympians, it deserves to be with him. So the offer is made. An increase in payment. for the 3 surviving suits after the last one is bound and sacrificed. Suddenly everything is guns, threats and recriminations, with Ulysses in the middle.
Well, it ain't gonna be me.
I'm going down with the rest of you.
I won't let you kill me. Please, God, no!
I will escape this city, leave its rotten edifice behind.
I'll buy myself redemption, my family to avenge.
I will
My
escape
family will
this
rise
city,
again.
leave its rotten edifice behind. I will escape this city, leave its rotten edifice behind. I will escape this city, leave its rotten edifice behind. I will.
Alright, Daedalus. You wanna know what's in the vault?
I'll show you! And like that, Ulysses casts the iron cyclops into the air, fires his final shot of the laser, and laser beam splits into 12 axes, and spirals round the room. Daedalus gets 2, one in the shoulder, one in the leg. Oedipus gets 2, one in each eye, he never saw it coming. Heracles gets the lion's share, 1, 2, 3. Poor Orpheus gets 1, slashing his pretty throat. Even Ariadne gets 1 right in the heart.
Which leaves 3 beams for Ulysses. 1, 2, 3. And like that, the vault is quiet again. 4 suits dead. Daedalus alive, but not moving anytime soon. And Ulysses soon to join the rest. So Ulysses walks over to the vault and types in a code. Elysium. And the final door slides open to reveal the grand weapon that was to take down the Olympians. A tree. In the midst of a glowing field. The last of the natural world. Found by Ulysses so many years ago, locked away, kept secret, with only a slender passage to the surface to allow the sun to touch upon it at dawn, where their wife, Penelope, was so long ago buried, the first in who knows how long to escape the Acheron and die a true death. And now Ulysses is to join her. Once, long ago perhaps, Ulysses thought it could be a symbol, something to inspire revolution, true death, finality, but no longer. Daedalus doesn't understand. Daedalus can't understand. As the doors close behind Ulysses, never to reopen, and as the weary hound, at his master's feet once more, lies down to die, with the sunlight caressing its fur, even so did the eyes of Ulysses close for the last time.
Elysian fields stretch out before me. Sunlight dapples through the leaves of the soul surviving oak tree as I wait for my release. Lying here among the flowers, I am rest my weary bones. I can lie with my beloved. I have found my final beside my wife, and free from toil, sunrise breaking through the night. Of life, forever free of pain and hunger, I shall leave the city's strife. Lying here, bathed in sunshine, I have found where I shall lie. I can sleep for my forever Elysian fields where I can die. Elysian fields where I can. The end.
Thank you. Now, we are aiming to put that on CD. Sometime around July, we would hope. It almost certainly won't be exactly the show you just saw. This is the debut. It's going to be refined and processed, etc., etc., etc. But if you want to help with that occurring, and you know you do, there is a crowdfunding Indiegogo page for this this CD. There are lots of lovely perks, from dice to patches to goggles, all sorts of brilliant things. And so go there, give us all your money, and then we will make a CD and we will send you the CD, and you can listen to this to your heart's content. But thank you so much for coming, and thank you to Polar's Patterns, and thank you so much to Pocket Watch as well for coming along and being part of this great night. So we're going to leave you with one quick final song, and I think you probably know what it's going to be. So sing along if you know the words. What shall we do with a drunk space pirate? What shall we do with a drunk space pirate? What shall we do with a drunk space pirate? Distant stars away, way, hey, the world, way, hey, the world, way, hey, the world, distant stars away. Shove 'em in the air, locked it, he's over. Shove 'em in the air, locked it, he's over. Shove 'em in the air, locked it, he's over. Distant stars away, way, hey, the world, way, hey, the world. Way, hey, distant stars away. Make me the vents while the engine's running. Make me the vents while the engine's running. Make me the vents while the engine's running. Distant stars away. Way, hey, way, hey, way, hey, distant stars away. Shove 'em in the rig with a staggering moonbeams. Shove 'em in the rig with a staggering moonbeams. Shove 'em in the rig with a staggering moonbeams. Distant stars away. Way, hey, distant stars away. Stab him to the red hot in a spacesuit. Stab him to the red hot in a spacesuit. Stab him to the Now go get drunk. You deserve it.
Just for reference, it is Johnny
Is an idiot. If any of you happen to have missed out on our first CD, Once Upon a Time in Space, a little mix of fairy tales, the fight of General Snow versus the vicious King Cole, we do have a few copies in spare. Here's the idiot now. Getting to it. I was building up to it. You know, you leave. Yeah, well, you gotta let things calm down before you bring in that sort of information. So, but yeah, you know.
This is why you're not the captain. I will get you, top hat laughing man.
Look! I've done my own CD and I've sewed the CD cases and everything. So if you want one of my solo project, it's £5 or anything near £5.
You should be aware that you will be funding its tea habit. At any rate, thank you everybody and good night.